What's up, Brookie Nation? It's me, the Mackie Mouse.
Oh man, the role of the Mackie Mouse today will be played by Isla. That was really good. That was actually really impressive.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of that. As not the Mackie Mouse said, I am the Mackie Mouse.
It's me, Isla, guys. I know I got you good. But...
You did get us pretty good. That was you got me good actually. In case you're wondering what train wreck you have just walked yourself into in this delightful podcast that you have decided to listen to, you are joining us on Storybrooke Circus, a once upon a time podcast. Thank you for being here. We are on episode 21. That's pretty big. We have passed the hump of podcast longevity.
Doom.
So according to the internet, podcasts seldom last more than 20 episodes. So we have officially made it past our 20th episode. I think that's a big deal.
We're out here.
We are out here. We out here. So yeah, thank you for being here. We are reviewing Once Upon a Time, the entire show, one episode at a time. We are up to the very end of season 1. Well, toward the end of season 1. We're on episode 20 of season 1 right now, called The Stranger, which is very, very exciting. We've been waiting for this episode in particular. Well, these last kind of 3 or 4 episodes, really, because the end of season 1 is just friggin' fantastic.
Right, but we've wanted to know who the stranger was since he showed up.
Yeah. This is finally going to get to the bottom of a lot of mysteries that we have outstanding. But before we really get into any of that good stuff, how's it going? How's life? How's the universe treating you? I know it's
okay, you know,
like all the time.
The middle of the week. So we're getting there.
So we sing a song in the beginning of every episode before we sync the audio. And Isla thought it was Thursday today since she sang a song about how it was Thursday. And we were like, nope, it's not Thursday.
It's not. It's actually Wednesday.
It's actually Wednesday at the time of this taping, but it's not Wednesday for you. It's probably Friday or some other day of the week. Or maybe it is Wednesday and you're synced up with us. Can you imagine, are people listening to the show like that late? Like they're listening on Wednesday. So like when we talk about stuff like current events,
oh my gosh, like
the following week, they would be listening like as if it was real time. That's crazy. I don't even know what I'm blabbering about anymore.
I get what you're saying now.
This is just what we do. We sit on your metaphorical couch and we just chat about one of our favorite TV shows. Speaking of which, we would like to very quickly get into our Storybook Daily Mirror section. We love our Storybook Daily Mirror newsboys. How else would we get the newspaper out there if the newsboys weren't, read all about it?
Yeah, handing it out.
Yeah, so thank you. The Storybook Daily Mirror is where we talk about all things related to you, the listener, all things kind of interacting with our fans, our listeners, our supporters. So the usual way, as we always introduce this segment, Isla is going to tell everyone how you can be a part of the Storybook Daily Mirror. We cannot do that if Isla is frozen in a very strange face. Maybe she lost power. Maybe she lost the internet. We don't know. But I need to send a picture of herself to this because it is hilarious. This is great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, she's back. She is not stuck in... You ever seen Stay Tuned? It's a very, very old movie. You know who John Ritter is? Three's Company?
No.
Sure. He's in this super old movie that's not really relevant, but the plot of the movie is that he gets sucked into a TV and he has to and it's like game shows on cable, but the game shows could actually kill you. So he has to get through the game shows to get out of the TV. It's basically the way that the devil is collecting souls. He gets...
That's not what I was just stuck in.
Yeah, so that's the reference that I was making, is that Isla is not just stuck in the internet.
I think a storm's coming through, so... Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to whether or not Isla's internet stays intact. What I was just introducing, which was hilarious, because I was like, are we gonna say how we get into the Storybook Daily Mirror? I don't know.
No.
Maybe Isla's power is lost. Maybe she's lost internet. Maybe she's just really good at standing still. So the people have been anxiously waiting to hear how it is that you get into the Storybook Daily Mirror.
I would be happy to tell you. Let's first of all give us some good feelings and give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Make us feel good about ourselves on Apple Podcast. When you leave a 5-star review, if you write some words, we're going to read them on the air. If you don't want to do that, if you for some reason still have an Android, you can send us a DM on Instagram, the SBC Pod. You could also send us an email if you're into that sort of thing, the sbcpod@gmail.com. If you don't have access to the internet, you can send us a letter. Just send us a carrier pigeon and let us know, and we'll hook you up with that information.
Yeah, just use
we
one
also
of Snow
have
White's
a
pigeons,
Discord.
her little doves.
We have a Discord where you can participate in conversation and say things. And if you want us to talk about something on the air, just let us know. And last but certainly not least, we have a phone number that you can text or call. And that phone number is 207
536-8512. Killed it. Accurate.
Nailed it. So yeah, those are all you can text. You can leave us a voicemail. We will not answer the phone. Completely judgment free.
Yeah.
Hit us up. We want to hear from you. It is one of our favorite things about the show.
That is, I could not have said that better myself. That is the most true thing that has ever been spoken. So much so that we, in fact, reached out. Well, sort of reached out. We kind of threw a feeler out there to see if people would be interested in a Lost podcast. And
Update.
here's what happened. Here's what happened. We put that out there, and we got a lot of interest. We then said, hey, everyone, if we get enough people to actually respond to this, please text us down the hatch to our phone number. We will start a Lost podcast. So we then figured out how we were going to do that. And this is all coming from you all, from people who are, we like joking around about it, but people were like, no, you really need to do this. So we got enough responses of people texting and DMing us, and some emails came through, voicemails. Like, you guys are super supportive about this idea. So we said, all right, you held up your end of the deal. So I am extremely proud to announce that we are officially starting a Patreon.
And when we say we're starting, we mean it's live.
It is. We just launched it a few minutes ago, and I'm happy to show we didn't say hi to YouTube, by the way. Let's just take a second to say hi. Hello, YouTube. We taped the beginning of the show so you guys can see our beautiful faces. Well, on said YouTube, I am now going to show you a little snippet of what you guys are going to get in said Patreon. We have a Storybrooke Circus official Patreon called the Brookies. There are 2 tiers, and in said tiers is the Brookie Movie Club, which is the first tier, is $7. With that, you're going to get exclusive Storybook Circus bonus content. So like in between seasons and little editorials, things that are not like the episode, right? So we've talked about talking about the timeline before, and like really doing a separate thing all about like where the episodes kind of fall in place with each other. All of that kind of bonus, extra special features, style things that are not directly related to the episode flow. We're going to put those in this tier. And it's called the Brookie Movie Club because we're going to be doing monthly movie review shows, so kind of like this podcast, but we're gonna do it for a movie. We're gonna do some theorizing. We're gonna do some production note style behind the scenes notes that we find on the internet, some cool little trivia things, and review some of our favorite movies. We've talked about doing Twilight, Hamilton, some other musicals, In the Heights. I've talked about some Marvel things, Crybaby. There's like a whole list of things that we've talked about. So not only are we going to watch said movies, but you guys will, in that tier, be able to have the voting rights in recurring polls and things to let us know which things you want to hear and you want to see. So what things you'll get in the upcoming content. You'll also get access to some exclusive posts and some news, questions and answers that we'll be able to do on there. You can kind of do some Ask Me Anythings. There's also something really cool. We've talked about our Discord, right? So If you're not a part of our Discord link is in the bio. It's in the show notes of each episode. So please come and join us in our Discord and have a little chat with us. But what's really cool is if you join you pledge to our Patreon, you're going to get an exclusive Discord role within the Discord. Each tier has their own, and then you'll have a special place where we can all chat together, exclusive to this Patreon pledge. So that's kind of a part of what you are getting as part of supporting us financially. The second tier is called Once on This Island. I'm very much so hoping that my musical theater friends out there appreciate this title reference to a very cool musical. And this is where we proudly present our Inception podcast within a podcast called Hatching Up with Lost. Official name, Hatching Up with Lost, a spoiler spectacular. You will get everything in tier 1, so you'll get to participate in our movie club, where you can see our shows or hear our shows rather, and get the exclusive voting rights and question and answers and everything. But also, you'll get access to our brand new bonus Lost podcast, which is going to be a Patreon exclusive. It is not going to be released anywhere except for here, at least in the beginning. We have talked about potentially like down the line, eventually releasing the early episodes out for free, but we're not going to do that for a long time. We're going to do quite a bit of just having it be exclusive to Patreon. So if you want to catch that show right now, we've already have our first episode in the can. Hopefully by the time this episode airs, it'll already be posted on there, so you can enjoy that is episode 1 of our Hatching Up with Lost show. It's going to be spoiler filled from beginning to end. So we're talking about the show as a whole. So we're going to be talking about a lot of recurring themes and characters that don't show up for 4 or 5 seasons, because it's a really different watching experience to do it that way, to actually kind of see the intentions behind the mystery, like when the characters don't know what's going on, but we do.
This is just not a podcast to follow along with if you've never seen Lost.
Yeah. You definitely need to kind of, because it's going to just spoil everything for
not
you.
just for spoilers, it also just will not make any sense.
Yeah, it'll be really kind of all over the place if that's true. That's a good point.
That's way too confusing.
And it's
hard to watch it by yourself.
It's already a show that's kind of already confusing. So we're hoping to have some fun with it. We have its own drinking game, its own kind of segments and stuff. We're pulling out trivia and production notes and behind the scenes. We're using the Lostopedia, Wikipedia chat to kind of like talk about all the behind the scenes stuff, theme discussions, all that stuff. And also you get an exclusive role with that called The Others, where we can chat privately on the Discord, all things Lost. And so that's kind of what you're going to get on the Patreon. That one, the Once on This Island, is $12. And then the Rookie Movie Club is $7. So if you would like to participate in that, we're planning a boatload of bonus content for everyone out there who has asked for more, because several of you have expressed your interest in wanting to hear our voices more. I don't know why, because we're chaotic as hell, but apparently you guys like that. So you called and we answered. So the Storybook Daily Mirror segment has power, so much power.
We're here for it.
We created 2 whole new shows because that's what you guys asked for. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm excited that we're at that stage where like the first episode, we're like, we have no idea how many people are going to listen to this dumb show. Like, we're just going to have fun. And if 6 people show up with us, that's great. And we've had such a response to this show. We've got to meet new people, strangers that are now, friends of the show. We've gotten to have one interview so far. We're going to have more in the future. Like, this is really growing to be something that we're really proud of. And it's all thanks to you guys, because otherwise it would just be me and Isla talking to each other by ourselves.
Yep.
I mean, we are talking by ourselves, but we can feel your presence. We can feel you listening. If you're listening right now, thank you. We can feel you. That's weird.
Hi, friends.
Hello. So that's the Storybook Daily Mirror is entirely dedicated to you guys made it happen. You made the Patreon and the Lost podcast happen. So Hatching Up with Lost premiere this week. Very exciting. And we'll see where that goes. You excited?
Yes.
I'm excited. We're really pumped. We really are, in case you can't tell. So now let's talk about The Stranger. This is episode 20 that we're going to be talking about, character backstory. don't want to reveal the character backstory because they straight up say what the backstory is, and I feel like it'll ruin it.
We've kept it together this long. Why would we do it now?
The character backstory is the stranger. We're gonna find out what August deal is.
Who August is. Spoiler, it is not Rumpelstiltskin.
It's not Rumpelstiltskin, as much as they really tried to push it. And honestly,
it was pretty believable for a little bit there.
I know.
So.
And it really kind of makes me be like, I don't know if we should go spoiler fulfilled for the future of this show, because some of the twists and turns are really good, but I don't know.
We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
I feel like even if we did it spoiler filled, that moment we probably would have played dumb just so that people could get the full reaction.
Yeah.
But
I don't think so. Lost is going to be a spoiler spectacular, as we have said. I don't think even if we do go into spoilers, we will not go crazy with Once Upon a Time. Like, I think it's fun to keep things like certain elements of it
a little mysterious
as a surprise.
Right?
Yeah. So it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so this episode aired on April 29th, 2012. Written by Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambliss. So I didn't do this homework. I just wanted to really quickly look through the episode list so that I can see what they did before, because I like to point out like what they have previously done. So I'll go back to the beginning, and it looks like their first thing together, Ian Goldberg and Chambliss, was The Shepherd. That was our first charming dedicated episode. And then they next did Fruit of the Poisonous Tree, which is the mayor race, or the chief of police race or whatever. That's the one where Regina, the magic mirror, we find out about the genie being the magic mirror.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Heart of Darkness, which is when Mary Margaret actually hires Gold as the attorney, and Charming is trying to stop her. That was the rough one where she was
right.
She was trying to remember him. And then The Stranger, this is the next one. So a lot of charming Mary Margaret or charming Snow, but not all of them. So they're kind of, I think they're like tier 2 of the charming Snow saga.
The backup.
Yeah.
Guys. Ish.
But very strong, because all those episodes are really good.
Right.
And this will be fun for like I wonder if it would be cool to look at the written by, look at the stories that they were telling before, and see what our ratings are. See if our perception of the show, of the episode being
prefer
good.
One writer to another.
Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool to see if there's a correlation between like all the high ratings or like certain writers?
Yes,
I wonder.
with Jane Espenson.
Listen, Jane's a homegirl. I don't know why we attach so hard to Jane Espenson.
We love her.
We are Jane Espenson stans on this show. It's directed by Paul Edwards, and I don't believe... Have we had Paul Edwards before? It looks like no. Oh, we did.
Gosh,
That's Still Small Voice.
With the Paul Edwards.
Oh, really? Oh my God, maybe it's him. Maybe he writes for... That Still Small Voice was the last one he directed. Only that one. What else? 9.2 million viewers on this particular one. We're starting to kind of...
Wow. What a...
Yeah.
I can't talk... No, I can't talk about it. This is our show.
I mean, you can talk about whatever you want.
A little sneak-see.
Yeah.
A little sneak-see if you're considering joining the Patreon. We were talking about the numbers for Lost for the pilot episode because we do it here. And I said, for funsies, let's look up what the ratings are. And we did. And their like opening rating was like, what, 15?
18 million, I think.
18 million?
Yeah. And they go up into like 23
Yeah, they go
million.
up to like 25 million views.
Yep.
Just insane. So these numbers, like, at first you're thinking like, oh my gosh, 9 million people tuned in. That's insane. That's so many. And then literally just last night we recorded the Lost episode, and it was like, oh yeah, the pilot was 18 million people watched it.
Or 16 or 15 million, whatever. Like in 2004, September 2004, 15 to 18 million people watching.
On a random Wednesday night.
On a random Wednesday. And in 2012, Once Upon a Time is getting 9 million. Like Lost was really groundbreaking back then, and everybody was talking about it. It was all over the news and radio, and like the commercials were all talking about it. It was in billboards in New York City everywhere. Like it was a big event, And I don't think Once Upon a Time quite had that clout, unfortunately. But 9.2 million people is nothing to...
Still a lot of people.
Yeah, that's still pretty good clout. The synopsis for this episode is August promises to enlighten Emma and take her on a journey that will show her how she can beat Regina and possibly take custody of Henry. And with Mary Margaret returning to work, Regina puts a plan in motion to seduce David.
Stop. I don't want to watch this.
Desperate. Very desperate. I canceled. We're canceling this episode. Meanwhile, in the fairy tale land that was, with the evil queen's curse about to strike, Geppetto agrees to a plan that will save Snow White and Prince Charming's daughter. As you recall, Geppetto built that tree that they sent her into.
The tree.
Yeah. But with a proviso that could also save his own son. Let's look up what that word means, because I don't like not knowing what things mean.
Some Italian right there.
Previso. A condition attached to an agreement. He left his
unborn
grandchild a trust fund with the proviso that he be named after the old man. So a condition attached to an agreement. Why didn't you just say, but with the condition that he could also...
Because it's Geppetto.
Jesus.
Silenzio, Bruno.
Oh, what a great movie. All right. Now it is time to talk behind the scenes and trivia and fun stuff. We'll talk about production notes.
Production notes.
So for these production notes, let's see what fun antics we can get into. Production notes are always like I always think of like us being like Tom and Jerry in the movie scene, like trying to like scurry and find things. I don't know. It's a weird analogy.
What can we find? What's behind door number 1?
What is behind door number 1? The title card features Jiminy Cricket. Okay. Hidden details. The complicated wooden lock that August installs on Mary Margaret's door hints back to... Nope, not going to talk about that one.
Anyway.
Cast notes. This is the first... I didn't read through these before. I pasted them in here. I probably should have. Okay, we've already talked about the fact that everybody's already seen this episode, so they already know what's going on, but I don't care. This one in particular, I can't do it.
Skip it.
This is the first episode in which Red Riding Hood and Jiminy Cricket appear, but their counterpart, Ruby and Archie Hopper, do not. Interesting. So they're Enchanted Forest people.
I didn't get what we were going with on that one. I was like, I don't understand.
Let's see. We have some more Keegan Connor Tracy appearing as the Blue Fairy, but saying her lines off screen again. So she did a lot of work in the Enchanted Forest.
She's such a team player.
Just like shouting her lines off screen so people knew what they were. It's kind of nice. The scene of the War Council with the massive tree being brought in. This is what I was talking about before. It's the same exact scene from the pilot. And we've talked about this before. It's interspersed with new shots filmed from a different angle. So they actually had to recreate the scene, shoot some new shots, and then cut them in. I think it'll be interesting to see if we can point out the difference. There's some very, very subtle things. And if I find them and see them, I will attempt to use my little bit of experience in visual effects in movies to point out why they are obvious. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I will spoil something because this enlightening that August is doing with Emma, we're going to dive further back into, I'll spend quite a bit of time actually, with Emma as a baby. So this whole thing about Geppetto coming up with this plan to save everybody and whatever in the tree, like we've already seen that. We saw in the pilot, they put the baby in the tree, baby disappears, gets transported, we don't know where. I mean, we kind of obviously know where, but what happens to the baby after that? We're going to find out a lot about that story because a bunch of these production notes and things that we find out reference Emma as a baby. So I didn't want that to just kind of be weird. So the diner that
Speaking of Emma as a baby,
yeah,
we have a bone to pick
we do.
With the production of Once Upon a Time.
Oh my God.
Where they do not credit the baby.
Yeah, unknown baby as Emma is what it's listed as.
It's not right. It's not fair.
Unknown baby. Yeah, and this is not the first time they've done this. They did it with Cinderella's baby. Like, I wonder if when babies are a certain age, if they're too young, they don't get like an official credit.
They're not props.
But they can't be paid, and credits are all about who gets paid.
Okay, but like they gave the horse a name.
That's true. Valid. You don't really pay the horses. I don't know. I mean, I guess they, by extension, do. Well, they pay the parents.
I think it's disrespectful.
You're
and
right.
If my baby ever was working for something, I would want her to be credited.
That's a
even if it was a stage name.
That's a totally valid point. Even if it was a stage name, that's true too. Let's see. Sorry, it was bothering me that I was so dark. So I'm brightening myself up a little bit. Hello. Some other production notes I sing when I'm trying to stall. The diner that Emma was brought to as a baby is called Enchanted Lobster House. Don't care. The establishing shot of Boston. I mean, unless someone really cares about Chanty's Lobster House, if that's a real place or something, I don't know. The establishing shot of Boston is reused in season 3. Cool. Okay. Observations as August indirectly states. Oh, the time zone in Phuket, Thailand is exactly 12 hours offset from Eastern Standard Time, which is where obviously Maine is. In addition, the time zone in Phuket is it Phuket or Phuket? Phuket? It's not. Fuck it. I don't know which one it is. It's one of those.
There is a restaurant in Quincy, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston called Shanty's Lobster. It's called Shanty's at Marina Bay.
Oh, so it is a real place. So if anybody's
they
been
offer dine-in, takeout,
Shanty's.
and no delivery.
Well, that's just rude.
If you're from Quincy, you say you're from Boston. So, yeah, that is on point.
All right, right on. Thank you for the assist. Appreciate that.
No problem.
We were deliberating on the audience and I while you were doing your side quest. We were talking about on the side whether or not it's Phuket or Phuket. I think it's Phuket. Not sure. The Discord is going to eat me alive for this one. I have a feeling.
Don't ask me. I don't know how to say a single word. So
let's see if we can. No, can we look it up? Web?
No, it's fine.
The city of no pronunciation. All right. Well, whatever that is. It's 12 hours offset from the Eastern Standard Time, and the time zone does not adjust for daylight savings. That will be super important because we'll find out during the episode. It's great. And it is sort of a lost reference too. Henry has a Tron Legacy lunchbox. That's awesome. Tron Legacy is not the first time that Tron Legacy has shown up in this show. As we recall, during the arcade, Emma does the It's All in the Wrist, right, from Tron Legacy.
Yep. And
again, the reason is because the show creators, Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis, wrote the script for Tron Legacy, which I think is a great movie, but some people disagree with me, but I love it. The segment where with Regina staring into the mirror after David leaves is a reference to the magic mirror from Snow White. So I feel like, is it going to be every time she looks in a mirror? It's going to be a reference to the magic, right? Like, but I guess
we get it.
Like they're pointing it out. I mean, maybe it's about the way it's shot. So at least we'll kind of look.
Okay, but again, we get that she's the evil queen. We really don't need to continue to.
We don't need to hint at it.
All right.
That's not what it is. But anyway, when Emma, speaks to August about his plan, she refers to it as a magical mystery tour, which is a reference to the famous Beatles song of the same name. That's I don't mind that one. Issue 1 of the Marvel comic Avengers vs. X-Men is laying on Henry's bed. It was released on April 4th, 2012, just 3.5 weeks before this episode premiered, which means it was probably barely 2 weeks when the episode was shot. Probably a week or so. So someone brought in a brand new comic. So
do you think the actor who plays Henry was reading it and it just happened to make it on?
I mean, I've been on sets before. Props are not haphazard in any way. They are very meticulously vetted. That is not to say that someone couldn't ask permission and clear something and just be like, hey, can I use
but maybe
this?
He was sitting in his little chair that said Henry on it and he was reading it and they were like, that's good.
Yeah, maybe. It's totally feasible because, I mean, if it takes place in the modern day and we've already established that
they want it in real time.
In real time, right? They're loosely suggesting that it's real time so that wouldn't be in continuous. It would make sense because it's modern day. So yeah, sure. Why not? We'll go with that. It looks like someone is saying that on set, the prop guy just said, issue number 1 of Marvel, go for it, Henry. It's in here. It's a bullet. I don't know. That's just what happened.
So see?
No, I was kidding. But I just wanted to justify your theory.
It made sense to me.
I think it's a great idea. I just made it fact now.
Okay, thanks.
We're on fact finding missions on this show. That's really what we're here for. For the scene with the Enchanted Tree, a tree stump prop was used on location and then it was CGI'd into a leafy tree during post. I love when stuff like that happens, when it's just like they use a little tiny piece of something and they're like, we'll do it later. And that whole we'll do it in post thing really comes from things like this. If you ever get a chance, if any of you out there like The Good Place, if you watch The Good Place, go back, rewatch it. Fantastic. Not a waste of your time. When you do, go listen to The Good Place, the podcast, which is hosted by the guy who plays, I forgot his name now. Isn't
it Ted something?
No, that's Ted Danson. It's Mark Evan Jackson who plays the devil guy.
I love him. I don't know his name,
do you know
but I do
what I'm talking
love
about?
him.
I totally forgot his name. But he hosts it, and he always brings on, because it's an NBC sponsored podcast, he brings on people from the show. So there's always an actor or a writer from the writer's room or something like that, and they talk behind the scenes and whatever. And the CGI visual effects guy who does their show, it's one dude. One guy who did all of the visual effects for that. He had a little team, but like he was in charge of all of them. And they always talked about, like in the script, they would just point out all the things. And because I've already talked about on this show how tight the TV recording schedules are, this guy was working round the clock the entire duration that this show was on for every single visual effect, every Janet thing, every rainbow unicorn, every devil that would show everything. He was responsible for. So he and his team. So that every time they point stuff like this out, they're like, oh, they used a little thing and then they CGI'd it later. I always think of that from that podcast to be like, oh yeah, that's that one visual effects guy. They always applauded him on that show for just like being incredible at his job. So he would apparently his claim to fame was he would film all of the practical concepts of how he was going to achieve because you have to get those approved first before you do them. He would tape all of them with his kids on his phone at his house. So they'd be like, all right, so Janice is going to play Chidi and like Victor is going to play whatever. And then he would have them run around the house and like explain how it's going to work and how it's going to interact. And he would always send that to like the guys at the network. So they all knew his kids so well. And then the kids started learning the characters a little bit more and would like fight over like, okay, who wants to be who now? It was really cute that it was like a whole thing. And that was the way he got the visual effects approved. And then like knocked it out in like 4 days or this unreasonable amount of time. The Good Place, the podcast. Go listen to it. It's friggin' amazing. And like,
I need to finish The Good Place.
Oh God, it's so good. I'm
afraid of death, so I refuse to finish it.
Let me tell you something. It was one of the I am too, and we've already talked about the fact that there are some shows that we've watched that we have not watched the last 30 minutes of the last episode because we can't deal with the non-closure of like our shows being gone. It was one of, if not the most beautiful series finale of any show I've ever watched. It was handled so beautifully. Like you're gonna feel good about the cry that you have for it. It's not gonna feel sad. It's not gonna feel like completely helpless. It's actually unbelievably gorgeous. It's something you never know that you need. Like to hear that the way that closure is done. It's perfect. It literally is perfect. Anyway, we digress. We are in our favorite segment that we haven't named. It's the brand segment. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
I feel as though it needs no name. Like it should be the generic brand segment.
You know what I should do? Here's what I'm going to do for season 2. I'm going to have an elevator door bell ring, and that's going to we're going to walk into the elevator.
Yeah, there should be no name for this.
And then in the elevator, while we're getting to the next place, we're just going to talk about all the brand things, and then we're just going to get off the elevator. That's what we're going to do for season 2. I think that's perfect. So let's just pretend that this is an elevator bell, and then we'll just get into it. The picture on the right side of August's bed at the inn, it's seen more clearly in a future episode called The Land Without Magic. It is a floral painting by Max Streckenbach, who is a German painter who lived from 1863 to 1836 and is known for his still life and landscape paintings. Very detailed information about the floral painting on the right side of August's bed. These people. The Skurar plant pot is from IKEA. It's sitting on the counter in Regina's kitchen. So we have an IKEA girl. Thank you. In the next episode after this, An Apple Red as Blood, the same plant pot has been moved into Regina's kitchen because she wanted to redecorate. Because why not? instead of it being on the counter. Regina's gold necklace featured in this episode is a Lauren by Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren? Is it Ralph Lauren? Wait, Ralph Lauren? I think it's Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, polo by Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren. Okay.
Ralph Lauren.
I don't know which one. It's a braided chain necklace and is sadly no longer available. Regina wears the same necklace in The Stable Boy and the next episode in Apple as Red as Blood, and again in Season 3. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Storybrooke Daily Circus. Storybrooke Daily Circus? The Storybrooke Circus brand information section. I'm going to stop talking now. Okay, bye!
The only thing I want to add to that is that I do not see Regina as a IKEA girl.
I don't either. That's the first thing I saw when I read this. I was like, this bitch did not buy squat shit from IKEA.
Can you see Regina at IKEA? Because I cannot.
Not a chance in hell. This was a queen of the entire fairy tale land.
Thank you. I love IKEA.
She didn't even step into an IKEA. I can guarantee it.
She wouldn't even entertain the thought.
No. She wouldn't send a servant to IKEA to get to decorate her own house. That seems
all right. I'm
weird.
glad we're on the same page on that.
100%. We have some reused props. So in let's see, there's a Navy officer doll, which is going to be the same doll that was in Emma's nursery room in the pilot, and it's also at the same market that Jefferson and Grace visit in Hat Trick. I don't know that we're ever going to even see this, but they stuck it in there, and it was being reused a lot. There is also a white rabbit plush toy sitting on a shelf in Emma's nursery room. We have a lot of little tiny references to Alice in Wonderland, so that's probably one of them. And there's also a mobile over Emma's baby crib at the group home. And it has, let's see, 2 wooden pieces with a crown and a castle because she's the princess.
Okay.
In the first shot of Emma and August actively riding the motorcycle with the vehicle headlight on, evidently we can see their stunt doubles in that shot. So that'll be a really fun one to point. I think that's going to be a Drake moment. I'm just declaring that's going to be a Drake moment because that's more important than a Clink. If we can full out recognize that's the guy. That's the blue hat horse trainer guy. That's what that is. You know, like,
yeah.
When Emma and August, walk down the streets of Storybrooke. Oh, right. A real life Stevenson business known as the Gulf of Georgia Cannery doubles as the Storybrooke Cannery in later episodes, and it can be clearly seen in the background. So they basically just took a real life storefront and just called it the Storybook, blah, blah, blah. And then made it part of the town, which they do, I guess. And that is our production notes.
Production notes.
Boom. That was a good one.
Oh my God, we get to bring back one of our segments that we've been missing out on for 2 weeks.
We've missed out on this. So now we have our own Lost podcast, but there's a lot of...
We're still talking about Lost here.
Yeah, we're pretty Lost heavy here. So
if this is your first time listening on episode 21. Hey, first of all. Second of all, this show has a lot of connections to ABC's Lost because it is written and produced by the executive producers of Lost, Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis. Right?
Edward, yes. I always
Thank you.
get it wrong.
Oh my God. I was so confident, and then I got so nervous.
I feel like I always get it wrong. Yes, I think that's right.
Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis wrote Lost. They're writing Once Upon a Time. They love to throw Easter eggs in almost every episode. Unfortunately, for the last 2, we haven't seen any, which is sad.
Episodes.
But this one, I think we have 3.
We do, yeah. So this segment is called What's in the Hatch? Let's see. There's an airplane. A select character that I'm not going to name is startled by this airplane. The airplane has the Oceanic Airlines logo on it.
Which is very bad juju. I don't know why they would throw that in there.
Right? Oceanic Airlines obviously is that's the airplane.
It's the plane that goes down, y'all.
Yeah, the pivotal 8:15 flight on Lost. The place in Thailand we cannot pronounce, Phu/Phuket, where August traveled to. It is frequently referred to on Lost, including the similarly named episode Stranger in a Strange Land, which is an episode in which Jack visits Thailand, and it's all about Jack's tattoos and the mystery and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, of course Jack appropriated a culture and got...
Oh, yeah.
never mind. I'm gonna save that for a Patreon, but
Which, by the way, we did find out yesterday when we were looking at trivia that those are Jack's actual tattoos, and they wrote this Thailand storyline around them, which is also kind of interesting.
That is.
So they actually created him appropriating this culture in the script, which is also problematic. I mean, they perpetuated it at the very least. When August woke up in Thailand, 8:15. So, the numbers.
If you know, you know.
Oh boy. We're going to go ahead and retire that one. And that is our pre-show. So now we get to watch the episode. We're having just way too much fun now. We're just being ridiculous. If you're going to stick around and watch the show with us, we hope that you do. If you do, we have some, not rules, but some guidelines, some things that we're doing while we're watching to make it a little fun. We have this
some
lovely...
fun additions. Yeah. They're not rules.
No.
They're enhancements, actually.
Enhancements. I like it. Very nice.
Thank you.
We have a drinking game bell you just heard, and if you hear it, you can drink a beverage of your choice. If you're drinking water or alcohol or tea or, Isla and I both have our waters on hand, ready to go. There's various triggers for that. Magic, apples, certain square offs, Regina being crazy.
We make stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, it's just really for funsies. It's kind of like Punch Buggy where all the rules keep changing all the time. If you hear this sound, drink clink. It's just kind of a little cheers, tap your bottles together.
A nod to our production notes.
A little.
Also a nod to anything that we think is deserving of a clink.
Anything that we think is not drink worthy, but we want to point out is really where that comes from. But
we cannot call them rules because we do not follow them.
We really don't. We get too invested in the show itself. I need to. Okay, right now, I'm going to do this now before I forget. I'm going to pull up the friggin' Taryn from Texas. Did such an amazing job. Tanaran, making this beautiful flyer of our drinking game rules on the Discord. So come join us in the Discord and check these out. I'm going to pull it up and keep it up while we are watching the show, so I'll actually remember to trigger them this time. I also have a fun little sound that sounds like this. And that is the sound of me playing and pausing the episode for anyone who chooses to sync the episode with us. We got some feedback that some people do that. So if you hear that noise, then you'll know I'm playing and pausing so that you can keep the show in sync with yourself.
And we called up the help of one of our good, close
our
family
dear friends.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
William
Thanks, Will.
Smith himself, very good friend of the show, decided to lend his voice and tell us when he would like to announce that it's rewind time so that we can, investigate a moment of the show a little bit closer. So if you hear Will, then you know that we're rewinding, further helping to keep the show in sync. And that's really how we watch the show. So the thing we're going to be looking out for... we're going to be listening for, we got to listen for the line, right? The line that they named the episode after, even though for some reason
makes no sense.
It doesn't make really sense. Emma says, I thought this trip was supposed to be about you. And August very mysteriously says, it is. This is my story. And it's your story. Oh boy.
Okay. Honestly, I think that would make sense.
But it's not about the straight, what I wish they had just named it something different, or I don't know. The stranger makes sense, I guess, but anyway, that's the line we're listening for. That is the line they are declaring is the title line of the show. So, and that's going to be a big drink moment, where we applaud and we pause and we say, hey, it's the name of the episode. Yay. So with that, we say goodbye to our YouTube buddies.
We
Peace
bid you
out.
adieu, YouTube.
We bid you adieu. And if you'd like to listen to the rest of the show, I was having some lightning and thunder.
It's thundering, lightning. Harper's ringing the doorbell.
Oh my God. I'm so
okay, so we live in a very old house, and it was a big farmhouse at one point. They split it up into multiple apartments at another point. Now it's a townhouse, but our mudroom entryway area used to be like a separation of different apartments. Mm-hmm. So one of our doorbells is on the inside of the house.
Oh,
she can reach it. It's funny.
That's hilarious. That's great. Of course, at a moment where it's thundering and lightning, she'd be ringing the doorbell too. That's so great. All right. Well, if you'd like to listen to the rest of the show and listen to our little watch party, then you can find the show on your favorite podcast app, and you can find it right here.